try this again. Alright, I'm not going to have in the first video. I've been trying to record. Anyway, I took my egg whites from the bowl. I left just a tiny bit in the bowl. I put this in this lovely green mixing bowl. I have started to mix, which I showed in a different video, which apparently didn't stay recording. I have slightly mixed egg yolks. I'm trying not to do this without doing it. After I just started to get foamy, I had a little bit of this cream of tartar, a fourth of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. If you have a little bit more, it's not the worst thing in the world, because it just helps thicken it. I'm gonna go back. After you started at the first kind of lowest level on your average from the party, go up to about halfway. Once you've done that for a little bit, you're gonna take your 50 grams of sugar. So I measured it out 50 grams of sugar. It's about the cup. You're gonna start sprinkling that in. One of the best things in macarons, well, one of the most subtle things. Sprinkle this in slowly, like just a touch at a time, like barely sprinkle it in. That's one of the hardest parts. Like if you've ever made meringue cookies, I know it's kind of loud, but the key is to slowly integrate the sugar. The slower you integrate the sugar, the better. The better your cookies are going to come out. So I'm really slowly integrating our sugar here. A little bit at a time. Again, I don't know what's happening on our video code. So right here, just so you know, this is our 100 grams of olive oil, our 100 grams of sugar. These are the different little kinds. It's light as air, it's nice and white and fluffy. Here now, a little bit of how our egg whites are doing. We're trying to get nice and white and fluffy. We're trying to get a very soft, very frosty egg white. We want it to be stiff, but we don't want it to be brittle. So we're aiming right now to have a really stiff egg white without breaking it. So right now, I'm going to turn it up. I know it's loud. Just stick with me for a minute. When you're trying to get your high egg white, you want it to be at the highest level, stiff and glossy and white. I'll leave it, just stick with me. Look at our beautiful painting of friends. In the background, and also Alice and mine. So I think we're check my egg whites. Looking pretty good. That's pretty stiff. It's pretty stiff. Let's see right here. Pretty stiff. So look at those. If your egg whites aren't moving, if you can turn that thing upside down, those are good egg whites, depending on your mixer. This is the new mixer I got because I broke the whisk on the last mixer I had. So it's entirely up to how fast your mixer can whisk. I don't recommend the stand mixers as much just because I haven't had as much luck with those. It takes a little bit longer. The key is once you get to that nice stiff egg white, you're going to put your mixer aside. You're going to need a spatula. So, you're going to take your spatula and you're going to take your nice, fluffy confectioner sugar and almond flour mixture. I want you to just, it's okay this time to just, unlike the sugar we added to the egg whites, so we added it very subtly, very slowly, we are going to add this in all at once. It's fine. Just add it. Also take our coloring, our purple coloring for lavender macarons. You can add it when you're still mixing the egg whites, which I do recommend, but I have a new mixer. These mixed up faster than I expected, so not a big deal. Add less than you think for the color. So right now I'm only adding 2 little drops for this, because I always like my middle to be a little bit darker than my cookie, or else it looks slightly weird. So I'm going to leave you for a second So you can look not at my fingers, but at my bowl. So this is the point where people get confused. This is the point where I got the most confused. We are going to mix, we're going to mix, we're going to fold. And it was like, oh, fold 50 times. Well, that's not entirely the case. Just mix, 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 mix for now. Mix it up. So I do have the purple in there. You can kind of see it a little bit. It's going to get incorporated slowly. We love how nice and fluffy this is right now. This is ideal for macarons. So you see just how light and fluffy this is for the moment. So you see I'm slowly incorporating that beautiful purple color. Going back and forth a little bit. Some people say to make a J, some people say to make a figure eight. I say it really doesn't matter so much at the beginning. It's more about what you do at the end. So I'm going to kind of like put you down for a second so I can go back to mixing this a little bit in a different space because this is slightly awkward. Alright, so I have you there. I'm going to show you my bowl. Keep doing this. A little bit of this. Keep circling back your mixture. A little bit. So I hear right now our biggest thing is we want it to get to the right consistency. We don't want to overmix it and we don't want to undermix it. So 50 strokes, sure. Conservative estimate. Just really use that little like spatula. Mix it in, however you want, figure eight, J's. It doesn't really matter. The point is to get it to the right consistency. So what we want is a batter that folds back in on itself, but does not fold in on itself too much and does not fold in on itself not enough. I know that sounds insane. So I kind of want to show you. So when you're testing, you're mixing. So we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this. The way it does this. So we're going to follow. Well, you can see it very well. So see how the batter kind of like folds in back on itself. We want movement. We don't want too much movement. We want it to fold back in on itself just enough, but not too much. We want it to look back like itself, but it hasn't changed so much. So this is going to give us our ideal macaron. So we have this nice, beautiful, glossy mixture that folds back in on itself, but doesn't spread too much. That's our ideal macaron. So we are not going to mix it anymore. Right now, we are going to grab our prepared cup. So I've got my pastry bag. I've got my cup. I'm going to take this mixture. I'm going to put it in our pastry bag right now. Pour this into our pastry bag. And we get that nice, beautiful, lilac-y purple lavender color. So I'm doing that right now. I know it's a little bit below the level. So right now you're going to want to have your oven set to 300 degrees. Some macaron makers will say 325. I say 300. 300, easier to control. You can leave it in a little bit longer rather than burn them. I go for about 300 for about 20 minutes, give or take. The entire thing with macarons is checking them, checking them, checking them. You check them before you put them in. You check them after you put them in. You can leave them in a lot longer at 300 than you can if you want to burn them at 325. I've accidentally put them on 325 and I have burned them. So I stick with 325. I use parchment paper, which I'll show you in just a second. Some people say silicone. Some people like silicone. I prefer parchment paper. Again, it all comes down to what you like. What do you prefer? It's a very basic recipe that you can make your own from there. So right now, I have all my macaron mix in this bag. Let me squeeze it, squeeze it. We have this nice light lavender color versus our French pastry cream, which we have a slightly darker color. And again, if you look, I've got a little bit of butter in mine. It wasn't perfect. I didn't incorporate 100%, but guess what? Who's going to be able to tell you have butter in it when they're shoving it in their face? No one. Okay, so you're going to come here. So, you're here. Let me do this. Just a moment. Get you situated. Okay. There we are. So, we have our macaron base in here. It's the perfect amount of spreading. And cut the tip off. We have our cookie sheets. Again, these are covered in parchment paper. What you're going to do is you're going to go straight down. And you're going to pour out just about, squeeze from the center, your macaron batter. Squeeze from the center. And you're doing about an inch, inch and a half, depending on how wide you want to be. I try to make it about 4 in a row. It's not precise. This part does not matter nearly as much. Yes, they'll be prettier. Yes, they'll match easier. But ideally, this part honestly does not matter so much. The thing that matters the most is that you have the right consistency. They want to spread the right amount, but not too much. If you have a little nibble at the top, they aren't beaten enough. If they're spreading too much, they're overbeaten. And don't think about it right this second, because we are going to flatten them out. We need to tap out the air. So, if you have a little nibble right now, don't worry so much. That's not important right this second. But you want a good flow. You want to cover them. They're, like I said, good macarons are going to move so much, so you can put them fairly close to one another without worrying too much. Again, you want to squeeze, just like I'm doing, the middle, and then it will spread outward. This makes for more even feet, less likely to have bubbles on the bottom, because that is a huge issue if you try to squeeze them from one side to the other, or like outside in. Like if you were trying to do something like this, like, ooh, no. Because you end up with a lot of air on the bottom, and that's the worst thing for macarons. Don't end up with air on the bottom. So we're going to move to our second cookie tray. You can watch me do this right here. I'm not paying enough attention, so it's going to be a little bit weird. But you'll see. I mean, again, we're going to match them anyway, so if you've got a couple that are weird, nobody cares. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. I'm going to squeeze this down a little bit. Squeeze this next one. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. Doing this with the camera in my hand is a little bit hard. So, where we're at. Okay, squeeze, ignore the little drop. Squeeze. Squeeze. That was a little bit weird. Squeeze. And squeeze. Okay. Doesn't matter if they're perfect. Not at all. Doesn't matter if you have the same amount on either tray. Because they're all going to the same place. So, other than not over mixing, not under mixing, our next big thing is we need to tap these out. Okay, so this is a great time to get out your aggression, get out your anger. I want you to bang these pans. Bang them against the table. So, I'm going to bang these pans. Hang on. Just a second. Okay. So, see? I made you fall again. Banging these pans. So, these will get out all the air bubbles. And you want all the bubbles out. Those are what are going to ruin your macaron feet. They're going to ruin your cookie. They're going to make hollows in your cookie. So, bang them against your table. Bang them, bang them. So, I'll give you kind of a little look right now. Turn you around. Apparently I can't. Alright, well, since I can't turn you around, I'm going to show you. These are perfect macarons to go into the oven. See how they turn into circles? Even after we did the thing, they didn't move that much. That's ideal. Again, we'll look at these ones, despite my little weird thing there. These are perfect. So, ignore my finger in front of the camera. Sorry about that. So these are ready. We're going to let them sit for a while because you don't want to put them into the oven until the top of them has developed a crust. So you want to be able to touch them and not have any dough, any batter come back on your fingers. So that might take 20 minutes. I've once had ones during the humid June of Massachusetts take 6 hours. These ones should ideally be about 20 minutes. I'm going to come back and check them in 20 minutes. Make sure they've got that ideal batter crust on them kind of. And then we are going to put them in the 300-degree oven for about 20 minutes. We're going to put them in for 10 minutes. Then we're going to turn the trays around for 10 minutes, ideally. Like I said, it all depends on the humidity right now. So we're going to just let these sit for a little while. And again, one batch makes, I'd say, about 2 dozen cookies. Depends on how big you make them. I try to make them about 1.5 inches. Sometimes I'll be really dainty and make them about 1 inch to make extra. It's all up to you. There's no wrong way to make macarons. You just want to try and have enough that match size-wise when you're matching your cookie to cookie. So I'll show these back to you in just a few minutes. Otherwise, take a break and we'll be back shortly. Hi everyone, this is the next part of our video. We have these macaron cookies which have been sitting for about 10 minutes, give or take. So if you watch me touch one, and it doesn't sit a little, but nothing comes off of my finger, that means these cookies are ready to go into the oven. So we are going to throw them in the oven. I'm going to throw them in for 10 minutes at 300 degrees, and then I'm going to turn them around and throw them in again. I'm going to check them at about 18 minutes. I can check them as early as 16 minutes, which should be about 18 minutes. Macarons, of all things that you throw in the oven, they're least harmed by you checking the oven. So some people even leave the oven a little bit open as they make them. What we're looking for is cookies that easily pop off the parchment paper. So as soon as they start popping off the parchment paper, talk about a tongue twister, that's when we know they're ready. So that's the idea we're going for. So I'm going to throw these in and I'll be back with you. Hi everyone, I'm just checking in. I just took these out. It was about 18 minutes in. I changed them at 10 minutes, turned them inside out. If you can see, they're lovely. We've got some nice feet. They're coming off very easily. We get some nice feet. So let them cool for a little while. Put them in a wire rack if you want. I don't usually, but as long as you let them cool, we've got some great macarons now. All you want to do is take your buttercream that you took out of the fridge when we started this process, squeeze that in between, throw them back in the fridge, and you've got your macarons. So hopefully yours came out looking just like this. If they didn't, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know on your Facebook responses, and I'm happy to help you. I hope this is helpful. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope this gives you happy macarons. Happy quarantine. Hey everyone, so it is time to put together our cookies. Here we go. So we are taking our French taster cream. We're adding a layer to one of our cookies. We're matching it with a cookie of similar size. For right now, I am putting them in this lovely container. Just grab whatever cookie that seems like a similar size. Your pastry cream should be soft enough right now to melt into your cookie. You don't want it too thick, too thin. Ideally, just about that thick. So we have our nice feet. My nice cookie. These are just a touch overcooked. Apologies. It doesn't really matter all that much once you get the pastry cream in them. They're fairly forgiving. They're generally forgiving once you get the regular basics down. Again, there we go. Lovely macaron cookie. I didn't quite match this one up perfectly. The feet are a little bit big. Again, I'm not a professional. These are just things I've done, things I've learned, and I didn't match these ahead of time, so I'm sort of matching them as we go, which is why some of them aren't perfect, but they're good enough, right? They're just supposed to be tasty and good for our friends and family. And this is the recipe I use for, like, the best endorsement I got was my cousin who has celiac disease. So these were like the ones she had in her honeymoon in France. And the biggest thing for me is I don't let anything I make, and I don't let anything I touch when I make macarons touch anything that touches flour. My sister is for almond flour only, for almond flour and confectioner sugar. It's all for people who have celiac because a lot of people have celiac disease. So in order to do everything to make awesome macarons, which are, you know, we know from the start, almond cookies, is to make sure that they are safe for people with celiac. So, again, we are making them so good, so perfect. A little lavender. I was gonna put some sparkle dust on them, but I forgot the sparkle dust. So we are just grabbing, we are piping from our bag onto our cookies, just a nice round circular amount, decent amount of fine cookie that's of similar size. Sorry, that one's a little bit. And just squish it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be enough. Throw it in your container, whatever you want to use. These are good for about a week or so. I wouldn't really keep them longer than that. Hopefully they shouldn't stay longer than that. Everybody should want to eat them. Like I said, there's some really good macarons. Like I said, they're not professional, but they're damn tasty. Your French pastry cream will soften up as you're doing this. That's pretty standard. Don't worry, once you put it back in the fridge again, it will solidify again. That's just the nature of pastry creams. Shouldn't harm them. Should always be safe. So yeah, I don't have much more for you. I'm going to continue to fill these. I'm going to continue to make them. Throw them in this little container. Eat a bunch of them. If you have any other questions or concerns, if you don't think I covered something, if you think I covered something poorly, please let me know. I want to make these videos fun. I want to make macarons accessible to everyone because who doesn't love a good macaron when times are hard, right? Like, who doesn't love a fancy French cookie? You know, we're all stuck at home. There's not much to do than learn how to bake. So, more than happy to teach you the things I've learned this past year while trying to learn how to perfect French macarons and bake them. And yeah, so that's all I got for you. I'm editing this video tomorrow. So you're done hearing me yammer. Love you all. Good night. Happy weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.